Hey all, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our unboxing and first impressions look at the Ulefone S8 Pro. This is a super budget phone that retails for just $100, goes on sale sometimes for only $80, making it one of the least expensive Android unlocked phones that you can find online. For the money, you're getting decent entry-level specs and a few bonus features that you probably weren't expecting at this price, including a fingerprint scanner on the back and also very, very slim bezels on the left and right sides. In fact, it has one of the slimmest bezels for the left and right that I've seen across many Chinese smartphones. The top and bottom bezels are still going to be pretty typical chin designs, but otherwise it has a 5.3-inch 720p panel, so it's not quite as large as many phablets on the market, but still more than acceptable. And there's also a dual camera setup on the back, complemented with 2 gigs of RAM and Android 7.0, powered by a quad-core chipset by MediaTek. So let's take a quick look at the box. I should point out that Ulefone has released the regular S8, not the Pro version, a few months ago, and this one has basically the exact same design, but it supports 4G LTE bands in many more countries now, and it has slightly more upgraded internals. The OS is slightly newer. It also has a full metal frame. Again, lots of these features that you'll seldom find at this price. There's also a 3000 milliamp hour capacity battery, which actually should be more than sufficient for a relatively small phone like this to last you at least 2 days on a full charge, which is also going to be nice. So here's the phone itself. We'll take a closer look at it in a second. Underneath we have the warranty card. There's also the user manual, so you can see it's in full color. It is a dual SIM phone that has actually a removable back cover despite having a metal frame, which is very interesting. There's also a micro SD card for expanding the built-in memory, and the battery again is replaceable and removable, which is a huge plus. It comes in 2 colors, as you can see here, a black and a white, and again, the design definitely makes it seem a lot more expensive than the price would suggest. It's pretty similar looking to maybe something like a Google Pixel phone on the front. We also have a micro USB charging cable, so it's not using Type-C, but it's acceptable at this really low cost. And there's also a charger. At this particular price of only around $80, its main competitors would be Android One devices, but those come with only 1 gig of RAM mostly, and smaller screens. There's no fingerprint scanners, and the build quality is also probably going to be inferior to this. So in many ways, this is a better value in terms of hardware. And on the back, we also have a warning sticker that tells you how to open and close the battery cover. Let's try and remove the sticker from the back panel here. And there's also a screen protector on the front. Let's peel this back and get to the battery underneath here, which is a tape covering up the contacts, so you do need to remove the tape before you can turn on the phone. So make sure that you do that, otherwise the phone will not power on. So let's peel this back. And while it's doing that, we'll take a closer look at some of its hardware and design elements. Once all the clips are in place, it definitely feels like a unibody build, which is a testament to Ulefone because, again, it feels incredibly solid for something that has a removable back cover. It's probably aided by these nice, hefty kind of aluminum frames and accents that they're using that gives the phone considerable heft, and it feels, again, a lot more premium than the price would suggest. The texture of the plastic here is actually a soft touch rubber. It's not quite as grippy as what you'll find on the sandstone of the One Plus, but it does offer you a better grip on the device. We have these chamfered edges along the power key, a volume rocker. The top has a traditional headphone port, micro USB for charging. That's the camera setup on the back, along with a dual LED flash, the fingerprint scanner. On the front, we've got that 5.3-inch IPS display, along with a front-facing camera and a selfie flash, which is pretty cool. It looks like the installation process is fairly stock-looking. First impressions, the screen not only has pretty good viewing angles and color as well as saturation, but it's also really sensitive. And now we're going to try out the fingerprint scanner, so let's begin just by resting my finger on the sensor. It seems like it actually works quite well. There's a slight vibration or haptic feedback after each time you lift and put your finger onto the sensor. I'm going to slowly shift it around a little bit so it captures all the edges of my fingerprint for better recognition in the future. And you can add, it seems like, up to 5 fingers on the device. So we're going to skip all of this later in the settings, and now we're greeted into Android 7.0 Nougat. So it's not the newest 8.0 Oreo right out of the box, but it does look like a very stock experience, which is quite impressive on Ulefone's part. It doesn't seem to have a very obtrusive skin at all, and there's even a consolidated app drawer on the bottom here, which is quite rare for many Chinese Shenzhen-based smartphones. So often throw on a launcher that looks very different, so I'm pleased to see that. Again, the bezels on the left and right really are quite small. Of course, we've been spoiled lately by many flagships that have small bezels all around, but if I compare it to something else like the Xiaomi Redmi 4X, which is another budget-oriented phone, this one even has kind of respectable bezels for the price, but you can tell how it's definitely considerably larger than what Ulefone has done here. So again, I'm quite pleased with the overall look of the S8 Pro. We can try to unlock it using the fingerprint scanner, and it seems to be reasonably responsive there. So we're connected to Wi-Fi right now. The top here, it's downloading some software updates. Again, a very stock experience here. We have Wi-Fi, Bluetooth settings, airplane mode, stuff like that. We have all the Google apps that are preloaded, including the Play Store, YouTube, and over here we also have the standard Google utilities. It doesn't seem to have any bloatware or additional apps at all, which is actually quite exciting to see. So again, virtual controls, there's nothing on the chin here, which does mean they wasted a little bit of space, but again, this is still a very budget phone, so it does make sense that they cut costs a little bit, but you can hide the tray when it's not in use and swipe it up when you do need to access it like that. Custom wallpapers, it seems like, so if I go into wallpapers, we can probably find a few of Ulefone's additions here, but otherwise there's almost no traces of any customization on here. So going into settings here, we do have Android 7.0 Nougat, as you can see down below. So that's just been our unboxing and first impressions look of the Ulefone S8 Pro. Seems to be a very promising super budget phone. Again, at $80, unlocked, dual SIM, quad band, 4G. It's really hard to beat as a low-cost device. We'll have to see if the performance holds up, but the design and first impressions are certainly very positive. Thanks for watching this video here, OS Reviews. Be sure to stay tuned for our full review coming out soon. This has been the Ulefone S8 Pro.